Now, returning you to the Children of Primus.
Welcome.
I got like the rhythm section that time. I could hear the...
Nice.
And I kept hearing something going...
You know, I'm gonna send you the MP3s of those. You'll be like, oh, okay.
Well, I feel like I'm like on NCIS and I'm sifting through all the other sounds. I was like, oh, that's a road bump. Okay,
I'm about to do the famous meme.
There you go. Welcome to another episode of Frenzy Freestyle Sunday with a Teletrain
Hey,
long
Arm Kibble,
segment.
quit destroying your Transformers.
Wait, what?
I said, hey, Arm Kibble, quit destroying your Transformers.
I'm not destroying them. I don't destroy my Transformers. If anything, I try and make them better.
Blasphemous.
The only Transformer I ever on purposely broke was my duplicate of Dark of the Moon Ratchet to turn it into a battle damage Age of Extinction Ratchet. That's the only toy I ever on purposely broke.
There you go. You get away with that one this week. So, what is on our agenda for this evening as we just talk fun stuff in within the Transformers franchise?
I got my Whirl in. I got my G1 Whirl.
All right, let's look at that.
Who looks like Blue Thunder.
I need to get a new Whirl
Nice.
eventually.
Blue Thunder is completely forgotten by a lot of people. Like everyone remembers Airwolf, but not Blue Thunder.
Now, being as how this is the PG, that was the first movie I saw a naked woman's chest in.
Oh,
well, that's a heck of a thing to enter on without any context.
especially during the Teletrend 1 segment.
Yeah.
Magnus.
This is the PG thing. That's why I said it the way I did.
There you go.
Man, would have been great if the whole broadcast began on that line with zero context. I always enter during the weirdest parts.
That's the best part. Just enter and you'd be like, what is going on today?
Yeah. What is going on today? Oh, G1 Whirl, eh? Just like straight up. I like how he's a block person, you know, like he's made out of blue blocks.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very unique look.
Now, I just showed him in his helicopter mode, and I said he reminds me of Blue Thunder, and that's where you got that comment from. I said I'll keep it PG-13. I said, but Blue Thunder was the first time I saw a naked woman's chest on film, you know, in a movie. That was the first time I'd ever seen a top nudity, I guess.
Okay.
Can we just quit that conversation already?
You putting Whirl up there made me think of an interesting little bit of lore that they created in IDW to ask why both him and Shockwave had like the Cyclops eye.
Mm-hmm.
And it was that back in the horrible early days of Cybertron, you know, before the war, there was this punishment they would give criminals called Emperata. And what they would do is they would remove their hands and switch them out for other things, but also they would remove their faces and put the Cyclops eye in, so they'd be marked as a criminal. And Shockwave had that happen to him, and that's part of his like turn to evil. You know, he got his hands back, but kept a gun hand afterwards. You know, never got his face restored. And Whirl, because he's like a big criminal in IDW, he's had the same thing. That's why he's got the claw hands and the Cyclops eye.
Well, Whirl is a wrecker at the same time, and I think I like him for the wrecker side.
Oh yeah, but like the thing about it is like the wreckers are like the bad dudes, you know, like
they're Black Ops.
They're the dirty dozen, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So of course Whirl has like criminal branding on him because in IDW he's done a lot of terrible things in addition to being one of the guys they need to call because sometimes you need a terrible guy to get the job done, you know.
Actually, I guess I'd throw a question because in Transformers Prime, Wheeljack was a wrecker. Was he also a wrecker in any of those iterations as well?
Yes, he was actually. There was mentions of multiple characters that died in the IDW that go along with his story of who's all dead.
Okay.
Because with the Loose Cannons episode, it brought me into the discovery of all the IDW wreckers that were also a part of it, and all the wreckers that died in IDW matched the chronological order of the characters that Wheeljack said.
Okay.
I think Wheeljack was still a scientist in IDW. Like he was pretty much his G1 self. Regardless of if he's done so anywhere else, Prime was the first time they made him into a wrecker.
Okay. I mean, because I enjoyed the G1 enjoyed the G1 Wheeljack, but then I also really liked the Prime version of Wheeljack.
I need to buy that thing.
I remember reading that it didn't really manage to come across in the final product, but the idea of making him a wrecker was that he was going to be all about inventing weaponry and coming up with weird solutions and stuff because he was a tech guy. But then once
instead
the ideas actually met the execution, that just didn't happen at all.
And a bunch of fighting scenes that Wheeljack ends up cooking and turning the Decepticons into scrap metal completely.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had that.
I seriously really want. Speaking of the Wheeljack episode that he appeared in, I really want to see a makeshift Transformer, the guy who turned into Wheeljack. I really want to see a toy of him.
Another thing I remember from the behind the scenes stuff with Prime is the reason that they immediately killed Makeshift that one episode he appeared in was because they realized he was too powerful and kind of broke the setting a little bit. So they're like, he has to immediately die.
Wow.
And I mean, he did get pretty much we didn't even know. I don't even think we knew he existed at that time and moment.
Yeah, he was in one of the novels that they wrote, the prequel novels there. Exiles, I think it was, just as a character.
Okay.
And also, sorry.
So is that why Jetfire only had 2 episodes? Was he just too much of a power balance? He put the Autobots in the sky?
Oh, you're talking about G1?
Yeah.
I think you have the right memo.
In that case, it wasn't. It was Harmony Gold that was too powerful at the time.
Is that the Golden Lagoon episode or something?
No.
I'm talking about when you first meet Jetfire, when they find him frozen in the ice.
Mm-hmm.
And then, in that what was it, a 2 or 3 part Fire in the Sky? Was it 2 or 3 parts?
Well, it was only a single episode.
But
he
at
goes
the
in
end,
the ice at the end. Yeah.
Yeah, at the end he dies. He comes out, he declares he's going to be an Autobot, and then he crashes, and they bury him in the ice. And the Autobots are like, "Oh no, he's buried in the ice. We're only 30-foot freaking robots. We're just going to leave him there. Thanks for your help, buddy."
Well, remember, they dig him out a few episodes later because they're like, well, we need a flyer. So I guess they could have done that at any time.
Yeah, and I'm like, didn't he just die? How no backstory on how they just resurrected him.
Well, I mean, that goes with the...
Well, let's show him go and get him.
Right.
My understanding of the full story there was most of the time whenever there was conflicts with borrowed molds, they just wouldn't put them on the show. That's why the Deluxe Insecticons and Robust from World weren't on the show because they were by Bandai. The toys were. But with Jetfire, who was a Macross thing, they were like, he's big and expensive. We have to get him on the show. And so they changed his name and redesigned him a little bit to give them some deniability. And then they kind of sort of killed him off at the end of that episode because they were like, we're not sure if we're going to actually be able to use him beyond this. We're kind of taking a risk here. And then they did bring him back because they're like, okay, I think it's good. But then in the second season, he just kind of stopped appearing pretty quickly because once again, they were like, I think the lawyers might be knocking on our door. We got to write this guy out.
I can't remember what the last episodes, but this is the only episode that I frequently remember Jetfire being most seen in, and that is the episode when the Autobots all turn evil.
Yeah, he was in that one. That was a big
but he
one.
didn't do anything. That's what kills me, basically. He only shot at Hound and who else, basically? He only shot at Hound, and then Hound just got that one whatever thing onto Jetfire, and he turned good.
Yeah, that might have been one of his last episodes, because they stopped using him early second season. Again, there's like script notes, because the Disciples of Boltax archive always publishes behind the scenes stuff, and there's like a character list, and the Skyfire one says, "Please avoid using this character because of copyright." So it was very much a thing, or because of the legal situation or something.
Well,
Yeah.
just thinking of a fun topic, and I know if I had a chance, I would have what's the word? Focus more on on season 3, because that one episode that basically in Five Faces of Darkness, when there's like all the extras characters in the background, I realized Metroplex is also in that scene and on the Decepticon side.
Wait,
Surprised
what?
me.
Did you just make a quick switcheroo to the other faction?
Well, this is the same thing where they were like, "We're gonna go rescue Galvatron," and there's a shot of everybody cheering, and Galvatron is in the crowd cheering.
Yep.
They were literally like, "ACOM is cheaper. We'll start using them as our main animation studio.
What else
This
do we
couldn't
have? We have
possibly go wrong."
we have the return
That's
of
literally
Brawn.
what happened.
We have
Yep.
the return of Brawn, Hook, Prowl. They all just appear in the background as a character, and in that one scene, Brawn is shooting at one of the Decepticons.
If the
Yeah.
Decepticons were there, like everyone that shouldn't have been there were there.
Yeah.
Well, the Skywarp and Thundercracker clones you can explain at least.
That's one of the things that I did like about the Netflix War for Cybertron cartoon, was that all of your everyday robots were all reflectors.
Yeah.
Reflectors.
All your just basic guys were all versions of reflector.
Interesting.
I would have to say I do, and all the Seekers, like they're also all, and then we just had those one random bots basically. For an instance, Impactor, Spinister, Barricade, Soundwave.
Now,
Each character had their own thing.
have you been around long enough to hear my theory on why some Transformers look the same? Impactor, have you ever heard my theory on it?
Nope.
The different body styles of Transformers are the different races of Cybertronians.
Oh.
All the Seekers are of one race.
Yep.
All brothers are of one race. All the semi-looking, the tractor trailers, Optimus Prime, Ultra
Motor
Magnus,
Master.
Huffer, Pipes, Motor Master, they're all of the same race.
I get
There
where
is
you're
a
coming from.
light canon to support this. I'm trying to just look something up real quick so I remember what the city is called. The toy designers said they consider all the Prowl and all the other bots of that mold to be from the same Cybertronian city when they were like talking about the figures.
Let me just spin these. These are some of the images I discovered for the Transformers. Oh wait, I can't. Okay, I gotta
Where's it
like
from?
link these somehow. Because these
I
are
have to look it up. There's a particular city, but yeah, that's a thing. They were like, we consider all the Prowl mold variants to all be from the same city, including Barricade, so they weren't all good guys.
Right.
So you're not wrong.
But Soundwave and Blaster, you see in the one cartoon where Soundwave, everybody goes, "Oh, he's a light post." Those aren't light posts.
I think that's still funny. And
Those
not
are-
to mention the toy can do it.
In my theory, those are distribution hubs. And Rumble and Friendly are loaders.
That actually does make sense.
And Buzzsaw, Laserbeak, and Ravage are all finders and gatherers.
Nice.
And the same for Blaster. Blaster's just a different kind of distribution hub.
Mm-hmm.
But Eject and Rewind are the loaders, and Steeljaw and Ramhorn.
Oh, it seems that.
See, that theory works. I like that theory.
Okay, there. I'm gonna send you some images of some RAD characters that were found that were populated. If I can finish figuring out where on earth these exist again.
I'm just trying to figure out
What's
what
RID though?
Praxis is a
in
neutral city.
Yeah, it's from where Blue Streak was from in like Marvel. So they just retroactively declared all the Fair Lady Zed bots come from Praxis.
Oh, interesting.
In a bunch of stop motion videos that I've seen, Praxis is the home for Sideswipe and Sunstreaker, along with
Really?
any of the other racing bots.
Actually, how many other cities are mentioned in I guess the whole Transformers lore?
Kaon,
A lot.
Iacon,
Okay.
where else? Well, would you technically consider the Sea of
What,
Rust?
Crystal City?
Yeah. A lot of the current city names actually do go back to Marvel instead of the cartoon, because the backstory they had there was that there was all these warring city states, so they like named them all and stuff
Wasn't
like Keon and whatnot is from there.
Dark Mountain the city that Straxus was in charge of?
Yeah, it's his fortress. I believe Callus was the name of the region he controlled. Look that up too. Just got the wiki open on my phone. Dark Mount.
One day in the future, we're gonna have a battle between Fear Courage and
There's one more
Sam
I
Bach
got.
Arts in terms
All
of
right,
their knowledge.
Polyhex. Yeah, that's
I
the name
sent
of the
you
place
4
they
so
run.
far, Spin. I gotta grab the final one, which just ties in a bunch of these characters to Prime. And, well, my other favorite show.
Oh, another. We
And
got
what
the
is
big
the other
screens
favorite
up.
show?
This is what they look like when you freeze dry 'em.
What did you freeze dry?
These are freeze dried.
Oh, Skittles. Yeah. Sorry, I've had those before. They're
They're
interesting.
awesome.
Yeah. Sour Skittles in
I
particular.
have a whole bag of them.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Uh,
still have to cook
but
myself up some dinner.
a good one that was freeze dried was Milk Duds, because they like explode into these big puffs, and they're not like, because Milk Duds are like solid. You could lose a tooth to those, but like after
Nobody
being
likes
freeze
milk
dried,
duds anymore.
I like Milk Duds. I like Milk
Well,
Duds, and those
Mr.
ones are
Magnus,
the
do you have a
freeze-dried ones
freeze
are great.
dryer?
Those are the malted milk chocolate covered balls.
Yeah.
Yep.
The point is, when you freeze dry them, they're the opposite. You just put them in your mouth and they just melt. They don't have any like.
Yeah,
You're not
just
going to
go-
lose a tooth to them anymore. Yeah.
Okay, so we just basically need to freeze dry everything that's super hard and everybody dislikes. So I guess I have to now try and freeze dry dots.
Yeah. Freeze dry. Have they already frozen?
Hey, what can I say? I like dots. You can't blame me.
Freeze dry some black licorice.
I don't think he's talking about the ice cream.
Yes.
I think he's talking about dots, the gum balls,
Oh.
the gumdrops called dots. Those are my favorite candy.
I like them because my parents don't like them, but I like them.
There's also a store chain called Dots in Ohio, or at least in Southwest Ohio, anyhow.
We have
Just
one
to add
too.
to confusion.
Yeah, dots is what that give me a 5 turned into. Here,
Oh,
Spin
Shredder.
whenever you decide to share the pictures, share the first one, and I'll explain the stuff that I did for research.
I have to log in because these pictures are on Pinterest.
There's a very interesting epilogue this week to our show where we showed what all of the Walmarts look like.
Oh yeah, speaking of Walmarts, my Walmarts finally got restocked. We now have the G1 Optimus, Slipstream, and the Quake. No more Star Seekers, and our Transformers 1 stuff is starting to dwindle finally. And well, Age of the Primes. Oh my goodness, I am excited for all the new 2-packs. I am buying the Doom and Destruction 2-packs of and that Weird Wolf guy, the reissue of Weird Wolf, and I'm buying the Top Spin and Spinister set.
Carnivac.
Yeah, I had to place like a safety order on the American Amazon for Impactor versus Carnivac, because that's the one I wanted. It seems like everybody wanted him, so he was immediately gone everywhere.
I got myself A while back ago, my mom basically, so when all those Wreck and Rule 2-packs were coming out, my mom got me the two that I liked my Impactor and all, but I preferred to keep my Impactor as my Impactor. And so my mom just got me the two other 2-packs of characters I don't have. Well, not 2-packs. She got me Twin Twist, and my goodness, I'm lucky I got him because he's now expensive. And I got the Leadfoot and Master Dominus 2-pack, which has still been my favorite set, and is also the set itself was my very first ever fossilizer, and my very first time experiencing the Earthrise Mirage mold.
Cool.
Which twin twist did you get? The
Wreck and Roll one.
Okay, so the red and blue.
Yep, and that's why I'm buying the 2-pack of Topspin and Spinister, since it's the only other one that exists.
Took him a long time to get that out there. Yeah, but the epilogue I was talking about. This week, apparently, Canadian Walmarts, or at least Walmarts in Ontario here, decided to hyper clearance a bunch of stuff. Specifically, Studio Series and all of the legacy stuff that wasn't exclusive. And it didn't matter if it was a Leader, a Voyager, a Deluxe, or a Core. They were all just $3.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Why am I not there?
Now, no, listen. I saw this news, and immediately as soon as I was done work, went to my nearest Walmart, all cleared out. 100%.
Wow.
All the stuff that was on there, and like I could see the tags for the $3 stuff. So went to a second Walmart, all cleared out. The next day I was like, this is pointless, but I'm going to go to a third one. All cleared out. So nobody got in on that except for the people who were, I guess, there really early.
Right. Wow.
I was like, shoot, I'll get any one of these guys for $3. It doesn't matter who.
That is crazy. Well, I'm surprised
these are the newer 2-packs, correct?
Yep. Those are the two that I really want.
Yeah. The thing that irked me was it wasn't everything that was on, like the Transformers 1 stuff wasn't on $3 clearance. And the worst thing was the Star Seekers weren't on clearance, so they were all still there. And I'm like, I'll get a bunch of these guys for $3. I'll buy a $3 Ferrac. But no, full price.
Everything at my Walmart, my dad just said, for Transformers 1 related, everything, like the big stuff, everything is all for $7. I need to convince my dad to get me the Bumblebee, because I really like that Bumblebee from that toy line.
At least with us, obviously it's because Age of the Primes stuff is supposed to drop in like May, probably April or May.
Hey, Dad, please.
So they're obviously clearing it out to get ready for the new line to start.
Right.
I've never seen them do that so directly and so like viciously. Just like everything is $3. Get it out of here. But, $75 leader class figures, $3.
But what's funny with them doing like this mass clearance of the sections are already kind of like cleared. Like they're pretty bad. So it's like they could have brought in the whole new toy line and it wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah. There was a Rise of the Beasts Rhinox that had been sitting on the shelf since 2023, and that was gone when I went there, so somebody had obviously picked that up.
Wow.
I was like, I might get that for $3. Oh, somebody else already had that thought. Somebody else who was really early on the draw.
So the images that I sent Spin here are actually the characters that were red X'd in RID, and right here you can tell.
Oh yeah.
And
I've never seen this episode, but like the wiki like went nuts with it.
Everybody searched for bots, and well, when Spin shows some of the other pictures, you'll see that they really didn't waste time.
Yeah. I mean, so like the final arc of this show that I did not watch, but I read about it was like the government had actually been taken over by Decepticons secretly, so they'd been like blacklisting all these Autobot characters, and there's just this part where they just show this big montage of all these Autobots with this logo across them.
Police Trailbreaker, and
everybody's like, freeze framing it, trying to figure out who it is, because this is the same universe as Transformers Prime, right?
Blades.
So these are the versions of these characters,
and War for Cybertron follows Cybertron games, quote unquote.
And for many of these characters, this was the only time we ever saw them. So people are squinting at what their designs are in this universe to try to figure them out.
I really like the designs for these guys. I seriously want to get them. because the Heatwave design in here really marks the animated Optimus design almost. It takes that design a little bit, and then Blades is a spitting image of Tomahawk's the Transformers toy of Tomahawk from Revenge of the Fallen is a spitting image of his body and design, and I really like it.
Yeah, Rescue Bots was in the same universe as Prime and RID 2015.
And then on top of that, the other thing that collaborates my theory on all of them being connected is Sideswipe mentioning in the episode that Blur stops by for a few episodes, mentioning Griffin Rock and his entire team for the Rescue Bots.
Except, like it's not a theory. It's like this is all supposed to be the same world. I watched one episode of Rescue Bots. It was the first episode, and it's them landing and Optimus Prime being like, "All right, you got my message that I sent out. Now, you guys are protoforms that missed the whole war because you were in stasis. So stay on this island and befriend these humans. Don't take part in the Transformers Prime story that is happening in the rest of the planet.
Fact,
just stay here."
Interesting.
Fact, actually, there is a YouTuber. So there was this YouTuber who makes a what if story every week, basically, and he'll do like a 5-6 part series. The last series that I read from him was on what if Tony Stark was in the Bayverse from the beginning to end, and I really liked that. And then the next story, he read my mind on if he should do a Rescue Bots Transformers Prime story. He did a Transformers Prime and Rescue Bots story. Instead, the ship actually crash landed on the airbase where they were first stationed before they moved into the Rock, the giant aircraft asylum, the missile asylum.
Mm-hmm.
In which honestly the story works perfect. And for a fun fact, actually, how he places everything that happens, instead of it being Wheeljack on his own when he crash lands onto Earth, he actually picked up Smokescreen. So we have the Autobots are basically a 10 to like 100,000 Decepticons, but the team is growing, and I mean growing at a fast pace. And
I'll tell you
a small spoiler, he unfortunately, so in the episode where the Toxin episode, he unfortunately has Megatron, so it's Megatron, not any of the Insecticons that find the Toxin. It's Blades, Smokescreen, and Ratchet. Ratchet dies by Megatron. Starting a huge problem with Optimus, and I don't know what's going to happen in the next episode, because something tells me it's going to be a death.
It's funny you mentioned a bit of trivia about the comics, because you mentioned Iron Man. So really early in IDW having the Transformers license, like the mid 2000s, they did a crossover with Marvel where they did like a Transformers versus Avengers thing. Well, versus, but by the end of it,
who wins in that one? I wonder.
Neither of them, because they're like, wait, no, we have actual enemies to fight. You know how these things go.
Like,
find a reason for them to have a punch out for a bit, and then they team up. That's how it always goes.
But like, if you had to theoretically say who wins, because both teams are somehow super powerful.
But here's the there's a more of a point to this beyond this existed. So it I'm not sure how they justified it on the Marvel side because I wasn't really following them at the time, but the Transformers characters, like, these were from like the regular IDW universe, and there wasn't like dimension crossing or anything. They're just like, I guess we exist in the same world. So IDW carried on, and like they had a big event called All Hail Megatron, which I'm sure has come up here before, where like the Earth got like invaded and a bunch of cities got destroyed and stuff. And John Barber was who was the editor at later on, somebody, and was like a big continuity guy. Somebody like not expecting a serious answer from him was like, so if the Avengers and stuff exist in this universe because they crossed over, what were they doing when Megatron invaded the Earth and like blew everything up? And John Barber's serious answer was like, they all got killed when Megatron attacked New York. The Avengers all got killed. That's my canonical explanation. We can't depict this because we don't have the rights, but that's what I'm going to say happened.
Wow.
So
it was that one
comic-wise, Marvel at the time was doing Civil War 1.
Yeah.
And
so like
Messiah Complex for X-Men.
So like canonically the Avengers exist in IDW's Transformers universe, and then they all died during All Hail Megatron. Well, off camera because they didn't have the rights.
Explosion.
In one of the series you mentioned with Megatron killing Ratchet, I'm going to throw this to you guys. How many times has Megatron and Ratchet have had that type of interaction, considering it happened in the movie and then it happened in the original comics.
Yeah. There's a really interesting
forget those.
thing that I discovered. No, I say me and the people in my comic book reading club discovered. That's an unintentional bit of like long running drama, because like you remember early Marvel, like Megatron and Ratchet make an alliance because Shockwave's taken over, and they're both like, we got to stop them.
Right.
And so they do this like little ritual called the Rite of Oneness, where they like swap fuel. It's like a blood pact. And they're specifically like, if either one of us breaks this vow, we die, right? And then, it's mysticism without much of a actual reason, because like they both betray each other during those events and nothing happens.
Right.
And then years and years and years later, towards the end of Marvel, under Simon Furman's pen instead, they get fused together. And then they get separated. And then Ratchet crashes the Ark into the Earth in like a murder-suicide to take out Megatron and him.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody's like, oh my god. Years later, that whole thing they did with the Blood Pact and the if you break it, we die thing actually did pay off.
Right.
The thing
it probably wasn't intended, but like it happened, right?
Some people have been able to make very accurate customs of them mashed
the
together.
Help Us thing.
Yes.
And that is horrifying. The first one I saw was the Core Class Ratchet, the Core Class A6 Ratchet, and the Megatron. And then somebody did a full-scale one with the Siege Megatron and the 86 Ratchet. And they are good at what they do.
Yeah. I saw some people who were very good at, like, what I call toy science, which is like understanding the breakdowns of how the figures work.
Mm-hmm.
It pointed out it wouldn't be impossible for them to take Studio Series Ratchet and retool him into the Megatron Ratchet fusion because of the parts. Nice. They know more about this than me, but they were like, there was like diagrams and stuff. They're like, they could do this if they wanted to. It was like an exclusive or something.
They were doing what Unicron did to Megatron.
Yeah. Anyway, the important thing is they did eventually get, like, split up again, but they had, like, a bit of a mind link for a while, and then Ratchet was finally like, I gotta crash the ship and end this. And this was right at the end of the comic, so.
Of course. So, Impactor, what videos do you have for this week?
Give me 1 second.
While he's getting that ready, something I just discovered, something that just got released. You notice, I don't know, y'all have noticed the price of Studio 86 Ultra Magnus is crazy right now. $259 on eBay, $289, $227. He is now back up for pre-order for $89 at Big Bad Toy Store.
I saw that.
So he's another one that's getting
$89.
Yeah. Oh, he's a great figure, though.
Oh, I've heard. Literally after exchange rate and taxes, it does like get pretty close to $200 if you're Canadian.
Yeah, our exchange rate is it's getting worse every month. But then I wonder, in terms of like these figures, if if everyone's trying to quote unquote scalp them in a sense on eBay, but then the source stores bring them back out for like $90, what then happens to everyone else trying to sell it for like, because nobody's gonna buy it at that point for the two something.
That's what.
Right. The one that I'm looking at right now, the auction that's going, there's two of them. One of them has 6 bids on it. It's going for $47. So, but it's still got 9 days left on it.
Okay.
But this one right here, yeah, this one right here is already up to $180.
Wow.
Yeah,
and
so like
these guys that are involved in that, they're like, oh crap, oh no, I've put this bid in because I was going to try and get it for $200, and now I could have bought 2 of them for that.
I have my mother's phone ready to show you guys the very first stop motion I ever.
It almost sounds like a Facebook liberated type of conversation.
That's right. That's right. Transformers Liberated.
Yeah, you know what I want to know the price of when it happens?
I'll be making this post on Transformers Liberated about the release, the new release.
Nice.
You saw last week they're doing Commander Jetfire again, and it comes with the 2 Void Rival figures and an issue of a comic book, and it's an SDCC exclusive. So I'm like, I want to know how much that's going to cost so I can laugh and then cry.
Let me see if they've got it on BBT yet.
Well, it's an exclusive, so it's probably not going to be on there. It's a San Diego Comic-Con thing. Non-zero chance if you're a Canadian,
okay.
you can buy it at Fan Expo. I've gotten SDCC stuff there before. Usually they tend to carry that here. I got my Revolution set from there, which also had a Jetfire in it.
Oh. Okay, well, Magnus
If anybody's got a pre-up yet.
Well, Magnus is searching. Impactor has his video.
This is the very first stop motion, so you guys are going to get to see what I did for my very first test. Man, the glare is horrible. Oh, never mind.
We have time.
There we go. Oh.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's what my that's what my first one was.
I just like I like the sense of motion to it.
Yes.
And then my second one, let me just pull this up. Let me just fix the slow speed on it. Because this was my very first Ironhide test. So let me just change the speed on it. That's the one wonderful thing I dislike about myself. I never changed the speed. Alright. There's no audio for this one. This was the one that I couldn't do any audio for.
It's still very impressive.
Like right in the camera's face, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, look at my feet.
I had a question because last week we were asking you questions, and then after it was done, I thought of something that I'd wanted to know. The little magic trick that you've pulled off multiple times with Megatron
Turning into the gun.
Yeah, where he appears to shrink and then change into the gun. I want to know how you do that and where the switch up is in that, because there has to be a switch up. Which,
all right,
maybe
I will show
you're not
you
supposed
in the
to talk
new
about
one
it.
after I show you
Yeah.
these. There is 3 more I have to show you that were on my. This one, be aware, is going to be a little not my standards. This is a what if I survived Ironhide video.
Yeah, head count.
That was my Ironhide that I had.
Lego man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
that
shaky
was. And I set it up perfectly, but I did not do the right steps.
There's some real Jason Bourne shaky cam.
Mm-hmm.
Custom Titans return Sentinel Prime, by the way.
Yeah.
Let me just find this one. This one actually right here was my first one that I did for right after the Rise of the Beast thing. And I think I did a better job with this one. I'm not sure.
I like the smoke.
Transformations are always just so cool.
Yeah.
He stabbed him right in the head. That's what I did for his death, for Cyclonus' death. Let me just get to that right point. So after he transforms and is about to attack Impactor, he uses his knife hand.
Nice.
And then the final 2. These are the 2 that I think I did the best for audio, I could say, because I tried to, like, make them a little bit better than my average videos. This one will take... Wait, what the... 1 second. Technical difficulties. I'm not used to my mom's phone.
You
Okay.
need to have a technical difficulties thing to go over this. Over your screen.
Yep.
Dark of the Moon, Optimus Prime. Is that a custom Ironhide, I think? pulls up.
This is Mexico City.
Oh yeah, the important bit of backstory.
Yeah, that was Lockdown attacking. And as you saw, Chromia died. But that was my
This
first
way.
real
The next time you
deal.
have technical difficulties.
Yeah.
And then this one is actually the first test I did for the shuttle attack, believe it or not. Be aware my hand is going to show in this a lot. Just because of how a bunch of the effects happen in the scene.
I like that.
That was my Megatron.
Oh.
It's funny because you've perfected the little Megatron magic trick now, and that version was kind of rough, but it's because you got better as you went.
Yep.
Yeah, that's all I was able to do for the first test that happened so many years ago.
Hmm.
And for honestly what I did, I wasn't bad or too shabby.
Hmm.
As you can see, what I did was I took the Authentics Megatron custom head off, slapped it onto Shattered Glass Blaster. Like, I did not own any of these guys back then.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable to make these, and well, now here comes the big new stop motion, which is going to be the stop motion that... Oh, wait, my tablet died, of course!
Of course.
Something has to happen right before I'm about to show the big one.
Plug it in.
And
Plug it in.
Murphy's Law at work.
Yeah. Murphy's Law is always working.
It never turns off.
I think that's true.
Well, according to Bo and Luke Duke, Murphy was a race car driver.
And also to put onto this stop motion is a... So, like the first one I showed you guys, this is basically a dedication to that stop motion. So I'm using my characters that I didn't have at the time and moment. So I'll be using, well, I'm basically using Gamer Edition Megatron, 86, none of my 86 guys are actually, well, besides Starscream. Like, I'm just using a bare minimum of my good guys and old guys. And well, trust me, it's going to be a little crazier when I get to the next half of this stop motion. Well, that will be involving all my special effects, because there are going to be not that many visual effects, so I won't be using all the con balls and everything for the death scenes themselves.
Okay.
As my tablet powers on, somebody can talk or do something.
I fear your light is doing a whole bunch of stuff.
Is it?
Yes.
Like on my face?
Well,
Oh,
now
'cause
it's
I'm-
fine.
While waiting
'cause
for
I
my
I was
tablet
popping a few windows around because I remembered I was trying to bring examples with me when I eventually talked about the comics, and I was like, oh, I gotta pop those up.
Oh,
And
okay.
wait.
Since I realized that Jazz... Sorry. Were you trying to say something, Fear?
No, go ahead.
Since I realized Jazz actually can split in half, I just have to unscrew a piece of his
God.
back. I will be doing his death scene.
Good lord.
No.
Boy Warp's gonna have to lecture you.
You already got onto him.
Say again?
He said Toyworks going to get onto you, and I said I already got onto him.
I don't break my toys. This right here is something that you can do. This is how you use factory made.
Good old ball
Okay,
joint.
so let me tell you something from an industrial point of view. Every time you take a metal screw out of something that's made out of plastic, you damage it.
Okay.
100%. 100%. A metal screw is not meant to be removed from a plastic housing.
Okay.
He's gonna have nightmares now.
Or the little metal pins.
Metal screens.
Yeah, those little metal pins that you can pop out. They've got like this little scratchy, etchy on one end, and you think, oh, well, I'll just put that back in there.
Mhm.
Those were put in there warm, so that when they seat into that plastic melts into those little grooves.
Mhm.
And then when you pull it out, you actually tear that plastic that's melted into those grooves out of it. That's why when you put it back in, it's so much easier to take it back out again.
Yep.
And every time you do it, it's like running a file on it.
All right.
This is true.
It's well, I'm just telling you from the aspect of a guy who rebuilds Transformers.
Mhm. Mhm.
These are the things that I have to fix in order to make them right. Like that Megatron that I sent to Anthony, that Dragon Megatron. Somebody had broken the pin housings off of it. It's got epoxy on the wings.
No, do not give me firecrackers unless it's on 4th of July.
There you go, Cruiser.
Called it.
He's in the comments.
Yep.
I already had a thought that just as we say his name, he's going to appear. I already knew it.
Poor Warp is Master Splinter calling for his allies to save toys from Impactor.
No! I do not break toys.
Hey, you
So-
can meet Goldfin Impactor. He's a badass. He takes on all the turtles by himself. Until, like, Splinter stops him with a ladle.
Oh dear.
Okay. I think I have the video ready.
Okay.
So, let me just... It's not fully finished. I had to try and get some of it more done. This is where we left off last.
Yeah, see, there's the trick. I always want to know how you pull that off.
Watch this.
Because
I do it
maybe it's a
so
trick of
slowly.
my eyes, but it does look like to me like he shrinks before he turns into the gun, even though I know that can't literally be what's happening.
The death of Braun right here, with what happens, the transformation to gun mode and everything, the death is super smooth how I have him move.
Yeah.
That's where I stopped. But Father for the vanilla ice cream. But right here, so where the
Always
Trick
lurking, Wazowski. Always lurking.
Always
So-
lurking.
So right here, when he transforms, I
Yeah,
flip
yeah.
him, and then right as he flips, man, I really wish my camera would agree to.
There you
I start to erase his body, and with how many frames per
Oh.
second I have, I keep erasing to the point that I then change it into a different figure, that being my gun mode Megatron, and I'm talking the one that turns into the minigun I have.
Nice.
And then I replace the gun right here. I don't know how well. I replace the gun itself with the Soundwave thing, the Soundwave gun that he's not supposed to have, and then transform it into the gun.
Oh, okay. There's a few things there I wasn't expecting. I didn't think that you were doing, like, After Effects manipulation of it, because usually you can tell when you do that in stop motion, but
You know
I guess
what?
it happens so fast that the eye doesn't see it. And I didn't realize you
My
put,
stop
like,
motion.
a third thing in the middle there to throw us off with, like, an additional accessory.
1 second. I'm gonna
I've
pull
said
up
it
the-
before and I'll say it again. The kid's good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's good.
Now,
There's,
Impactor,
like, way more going on there than I thought.
make sure you don't put any, like, subtle messaging in between the frames of animation that makes Peter Burris go out and commit a crime with a Megatron gun.
Well, put in subtle messaging, but make it all, like, Transformers fan opinions rather
Yeah,
than
put it like in
anything like
Cybertronian or something.
There you go.
Yeah, you need to put stuff in there like don't remove arm kibble. Don't take screws out of your figures.
I don't.
See, I was just gonna
Use-
say, actually,
use
Braun
upper
lives
size-
in the middle of that.
Use the actual size screwdriver if you do have to take the screw out.
I use the normal size screwdriver that's in mine because I do not want to break my figures.
There you go.
The only things I think I've ever had to alter a figure on was, well, I said my duplicate of Ratchet to make him battle damaged, then my, Jazz right here, and then, Blur because I dislike his arm kibble.
Yes,
Except that,
we know arm kibble.
except,
Really,
except
you're
that was
teeing yourself up there a little
except that
bit.
was a full-on cosmetic update. I removed the part itself, the hinge.
There's a little nip tuck going on there.
That's right.
So, if Spin is willing to let my screen show, I will actually slow down the actual picture for the scene itself in the shuttle attack, just to show what I originally did when Starscream turned into, not Starscream, when Megatron turned into the gun. Let me just take down that, and I'm gonna just mute it because of the reason. So, right when Megatron turns into the gun, wait, I have him, if it's gonna move. Is it gonna move? So when he flips, I start to erase his body, and when he erases, like right here, if I can get it, it's like a microsecond.
Braun, watch out! He has a gun. He is a gun.
Right there, the final leg moment is when it turns into his gun, and if I change back speed and then keep the volume at least at decent volume, and those go into full speed. In full speed.
Yeah. It's like I can sort of tell there that he was edited in After Effects, but that's only because you already told me what I'm looking for with my eyes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
it's a great magic trick. Out of all the stuff you do in these, that's the most impressive thing to me, even though it's such a small thing.
Also, speaking of, since I did mention the, what was it? Okay, let me stop sharing. The What If I Survived Ironhide. Since I showed you guys the first one, just to rehash the original, I'm going to rehash it. Because, just to see the difference in time, I think it's impressive. Because I made the What If I Survived Ironhide the first year, as I said, to stop motion, which was 2023. So let me just pull up that thing on my other end, quickly, before we have to leave. If my computer is willing to agree with me.
Don't worry, Tor Warp will be sitting this here like this with his dog, just like, no, don't do it.
Torb's coming after you, you know that.
I have that suspicion already.
I gotta give him crap about being in American Jurassic Park at least once a week, outside of here.
I got to make a phone call real quick, guys. I will meet you all over in Teletran 2.
Will do, sir.
And I just found every picture I needed to talk about the comics thing, so I'm good to go.
Since my computer is not agreeing to work with me, if Spin can quickly go onto my channel and go into popular quickly, it'd be very much nice of him, because I cannot get to the video for some odd reason on my channel.
Alright, let's see how quickly I can do this. We've got about 4 minutes and 30 seconds left.
Back from Super Mega waiting for that phone call from GameStop that my long haul hook is going to come in by April 4th. That early? Like already? It feels like they just showed these off at Toy Fair like a week ago, and now they're like April 4th they're coming out.
I don't know where I saw them, but the new 2-pack for the Transformers Devastation video game for the Decepticon Trooper and the Conehead Seeker, I'm buying that also. And then
they showed them off at Toy Fair.
Toy Fair, so that's what it was. And am I correct that I only got a few pictures, but am I correct that they are reissuing a Hot Shot from Transformers, whatever that series is with the Cyberplanet keys, in red and orange? Yeah, Transformers Cybertron.
Yeah, the original, that's kind of clever. The original toy, like, they had its regular blue color scheme, and then they did the red one later as, like, a random repaint that wasn't on the show. So they're doing that to the new one again as, like, one of the Walmart exclusives.
And I'm pretty sure Mr. Magnus is going to be buying this if he gets Steeljaw eventually. Since we have A6 Blaster with eject. Wait. Now, come to think of it, we still need A6 Rewind.
Yeah, well, where are they going to release him?
We haven't gotten a
That's
yet.
the question. Yeah. Because
Oh, sorry. Well, Shiba Kobe says, heck, when I ordered up the SS86 Galvia, it came way sooner than I expected. I hadn't looked at the release date then, though.
Yeah, that's one of those things where I've like ranted about it on the show before. Financially, I don't like it when things arrive earlier than they're supposed to, because I'm like, I'll pay for this when this comes out then.
Mm-hmm.
But they're never gonna deliberately hold pre-orders. Like, if they get the stuff in, they're gonna give it to you, because if they say like, oh, we got this in at the end of March, but it's not supposed to be there until April 4th, some other vendor will say we have them in now, and people are gonna cancel their pre-orders.
Right.
So that's why they just give it to you whenever it's in.
Yeah, she also
luckily,
says,
some places like Hasbro Pulse are cool and will be like, hey, just so you know, we got it in and you're going to be charged kind of soon. I was like, okay, thank you for telling me that.
Yep. So she also says they told me Bone Crusher SS86 would be coming in May or June and Slipstream by May or June, and I got Slipstream last week.
Yeah,
yes, I remember her. He or she, I don't know, but she said Evil Windblade, or AKA.
Yeah.
Okay, so quickly before we round up for the evening, Impactor, I do have your video on the screen. Which one am I looking for?
The What If I Survived Ironhide video. So go into popular, and it might be like one of the first videos that goes up for popular.
There isn't a popular section.
Go to videos.
Okay.
So click videos. Click the videos thing that's next to YouTube Shorts.
Oops.
You see at the top bar right next to like home videos, shorts, lives, playlists?
Yes.
Go to videos. And then hit popular.
There we go.
And the Well If I Survived should be right there. The Well If I Survived next to the... Yep, that one.
There we go.
Stand up with me. The first tab. No, the second tab.
Get inside! Let's go! Sonic! Go! We got Decepticons everywhere. I got my whole team deployed looking for them. Ironhide!
We've upgraded from Lego men to Human Alliance figures.
Indeed I am. What you must realize, my Autobot brothers, is we were never going to win the war.
Yeah, honestly, Power of the Prime's Inferno makes a pretty good, like, G1-ified movie Sentinel Prime.
With Megatron.
But this is how I played out the Well If I Survived.
Damn, what's it gonna be? You're a piece of me. I'll tear you apart. I hereby discharge you from duty. Make something of yourself.
But that's how I played out the first one. And well, I'm going to do a part 2 eventually.
Cool. It's very cool.
So yeah, you now guys got to see the first one and the second one. Any quick questions before we say adios?
I mean, I got my thing
Hola.
answered in very clear detail, so I'm pretty satisfied.
Cool.
I think it was great seeing you guys. I will try and stop by in the Children of Primus Teletron ID2. Have you guys seen the I Am the Destroyer's return yet? Because I haven't seen them in a while.
Maybe they got destroyed.
Maybe Unicron ate them.
Too many
Oh,
destroyers
Impactor.
cancel
What's
each other out.
Transformers series you said you're into? Is it Prime and
Prime,
RID
War for
2015?
Cyber, it's Prime, Rescue Bots, and RID. I don't care
So
what
the
people
aligned
say, I like
universe.
RID.
So line continuity. Okay. Maybe we should try to mention those versions of Jazz. So the Fall of Cybertron, the second Fall of Cybertron, War of Cybertron, whatever one was the second game, and then RID 2015. Maybe try to mention those before he has to conk off the bed at the
Okay.
top of the next stream.
All right. Well, we're going to switch over. So thank you guys. And subscribe, like the video. And then thank you to everyone in the comments. And to all are one.
So all are one and reckon
Are one.
We now return you to the Children of Primus.